जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद
जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्रील
Jai
कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय। श्रील
Jai
प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 16, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes of childhood and youth. So we are reading about the talk between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Keshav Kashmiri. So Mahaprabhu pointed out 5 faults, and then he also pointed out the 5 decorations, literary ornaments. And before that, before mentioning the 5 literary ornaments, he said that how many ever ornaments you may have, if there is one fault, it's like a dot of leprosy. So a spot of leprosy that spoils everything. The whole poetry is actually condemned if there is even one fault. So, and then he gave the 5 decorations. So we saw that, yeah, I'm just trying to go back. Yes. So what are the decorations? There is extraordinary alliteration in 3 lines of the verse, but in 1 line there is no alliteration. Okay, that's still the fault. Okay. Then now here the description of the 5 literary embellishments. There is a sound ornament of alliteration in 3 lines, and in the combination of the words Sri and Lakshmi there is the ornament of a tinge of redundancy. Yes, because Sri and Lakshmi means the same, but at the same time it's not the same. In the arrangement of the first line, the letter ta occurs 5 times, and the arrangement of the third line repeats the letter ra 5 times. In the fourth line, the letter bha occurs 4 times. This arrangement of alliteration is a pleasing ornamental use of sounds. Although the words Sri and Lakshmi convey the same meaning and are therefore almost redundant, they are nevertheless not redundant. Describing Lakshmi as possessed of Sri, opulence, offers a difference in meaning with a tinge of repetition. This is the second ornamental use of words. The use of the words Lakshmi Riva, like Lakshmi, manifests the ornament of meaning called upama, analogy. There is also the further ornament of meaning called virodhabhasa, or a contradictory indication. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water of the Ganges, but to say that the Ganges takes birth from the lotus flower seems extremely contradictory. The existence of Mother Ganges begins from the lotus feet of the Lord. Although the statement that water comes from a lotus flower is a contradiction, in connection with Lord Vishnu, it is a great wonder, right? Anything is possible in Lord Vishnu. All contradictions are very nicely reconciled in Lord Vishnu. In this birth of the Ganges by the inconceivable potency of the Lord, there is no contradiction, although it appears contradictory. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water, but water never grows from a lotus. All such contradictions, however, are wonderfully possible in Krishna. The great river Ganges has grown from his lotus feet. So I think we have to start from 83. Let me check. Or we actually have to start from 82. Okay, sorry. So we'll start with 82. So we'll begin here. So this is actually Sanskrit. Ambujamambunijatam kvachidapi najatam ambujadambu. No. Ambujam ambuni jatam kvachid api najatam ambujadambu murabhiditad viparitam padambhojan mahanadi jata. Achintade.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhuji.
Translation. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water, but water never grows from a lotus. All such contradictions, however, are wonderfully possible in Krishna. The great river Ganges has grown from his lotus feet. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you. Ordinarily, if you say that water is growing from lotus, it would sound absurd. But because this is in connection with the Supreme Lord, everything is possible. Because his feet are lotus, they are compared to lotuses, so lotus feet. And from his lotus feet, Ganges is taking birth. So water is taking birth from lotus. It's completely possible in the case of the Supreme Lord. Next. गंगार महत्व साध्य साधनताहार विष्णु पादोत्पत्ति अनुमान अलंकार. Arunita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
The real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Such a hypothesis is another ornament called Anumana.
Anumana. Okay. So the real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So Anumana means hypothesis, right? You are inferring something. That's Anumana. So the real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This is Anumana. This is a hypothesis. And this is an ornament, right? It's a decoration because again, this is glorifying the Supreme Lord. स्थूल एहि पंचदोष पंच अलंकार सूक्ष्म विचारिये यदि आछये अपार.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
I have simply discussed the 5 gross faults and 5 literary embellishment of this verse. But if we consider it in fine detail, we will find unlimited faults.
Mahaprabhu didn't say unlimited literary embellishment. He said, if you actually really look at it closely, you'll find unlimited. And when he says unlimited, he actually means he can find out unlimited faults. Right? I've simply given you 5 gross faults and 5 literary embellishments. We went over the list of faults. So shall we also once again go over the list of the 5 embellishments? The first one is that the sound of, repetition of the same sound in the 3 lines. That is a decoration. The second one is Lakshmi and Sri, use of Lakshmi and Sri together, which are actually redundant, but at the same time not redundant. That's the second one. And the third one is Lakshmi Riva, right? So being compared to Lakshmi, because Ganges is water, Lakshmi is a person, and you're comparing water to a person. So that's another decoration. And then the fourth one is lotus growing, water growing from lotus, because Ganges is coming from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So that comparison, that itself is an ornament. And also, I think the fifth one is that her glory, the glory of the greatest glory of river Ganges is that she's emanating from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. This hypothesis, this is another ornament. In this way, Mahaprabhu pointed out 5 ornaments. And we already went over the 5 faults, right? You remember the 5 faults? Okay, so the first fault is, right, that sound alliteration, it's coming only in 3 lines, but there's no alliteration in the fourth line. 1, 2, and 4 have, but third line has no alliteration. That's a fault. And then you remember Bhavani Bharta is one fault, right? And also the first one, Videyamsha, Avimrishta Videyamsha, right? Avimrishta means unclean, subject coming before predicate, right? That comes 2 times. First one is the glory of Ganga is unknown, and Ganga is referred to by the word idam. So idam should have come first and the glory should have come next, but it is interchanged. That is one fault. So that became 3. And then another fault is again Dvitiya Lakshmi. Ganga is Dvitiya. Dvitiya Lakshmi is unknown. That should have come later. But again, here the unknown comes first and known comes later. So those are the 4 faults. And fifth one is so Bhagna Krama we said already. And then Avishuddha, what is that contradiction? That also we said Bhavani Bharta. So I counted 4 so far. What is the fifth one? So
Fifth one, we are talking about the embellishment or the
fault.
fault is the Shiva's Parvati.
I said that Bhavani Bharta. Yeah. So Bhavani Bharta, and 2 times we got they are switched. The last one is the sentence should have ended with Vibhavati. Vibhavati means she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva, but then after that again an adjective is given. So that is another fault. Like that. 5
Like
faults.
wife of, like it sounds like the Parvati has another husband. Is that the one you know?
No, that was said. That is Bhavani Bharta. That's yeah. So this is the last one, Vibhavati. The
Last
word
one is which one? Which one you said?
I said Vibhavati. Actually, in the list they say Bhagna Krama is the 5th one, but I just counted like that. So what I said is Vibhavati means she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva. So that word Vibhavati, when you say, that should have been the end of the sentence there. But after that, again another adjective is added. So that means that's a fault in sentence formation.
Is coming after. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So those were the 5 faults and 5 decorations. But Mahaprabhu is saying, actually, if you look at it scrutinizingly, you'll find unlimited faults. Next. Pratibha kavita tomar devata prasade avichara kavye avashya pode dosha badhe. Okay. So next is Narsimha Praladeshwar Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. You have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshipable demigod. But poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity. Yes, you are genius, no doubt. By the grace of your worshipable demigod. Yes, how you got this? By the grace of Saraswati Devi. But poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism. Yes. So you do your work, but after that you have to review it to check for any faults, right? And even for, positive points also, you have to review it. If you have not reviewed it, then it is certainly subject to criticism. If you don't review it, someone else will find the faults and then it is subject to criticism, like that. विचारी कवित्व कोइले होय सुनिर्मला सालंकार होइले अर्थ कोरे झलमला. Isha.
Poetic skill used with due consideration is very pure, and with metaphors and analogies it is dazzling.
Yes. Poetic skill used with due consideration is very pure. So when you compose poetry, you have to do it with proper consideration, and then you have to review also afterwards. Such poetry is very pure. And with metaphors and analogies, and when you compose a poetry like that, with due consideration, and then whatever decorations they are, this it only becomes even more glorious, right? With metaphors and analogies, it is dazzling. Just like how Mahaprabhu said, faults, right? Mainly the faults. Even if there is one fault, he said, it is like a spot of leprosy. Like somebody, a very beautiful person, nicely decorated with ornaments, has one spot of leprosy. What is the value of all those ornaments and all that beauty? Immediately it's rejected. So similarly, you have to very carefully review your poetry, Mahaprabhu is saying. And then after reviewing like that with due consideration when you compose poetry, and whatever analogies and metaphors you're giving, that will only enhance the beauty of the poetry. It becomes dazzling. But if you don't consider, if you don't review it, then it is subject to criticism. Shuniya Prabhura Vyakya Digvijayi Vismita Mukhe Nanni Sare Vakya Pratibha Stambhita. Krishna Shish.
After hearing the explanation of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, the champion poet was struck with wonder. His cleverness stunned. He could not say anything.
Yeah. So if you remember what was his mood at the beginning, he was like, you are just a grammar, a teacher of preliminary grammar, beginner's grammar. How can you evaluate my poetry, right? What is my position and what is your? And somebody whom he considered to be so insignificant, when he actually defeated him, can you imagine what must be his state of mind? He practically forgot himself. He didn't know what was going on. He was stunned. He was stunned. That means he was not able to function anymore. He was amazed at, he was struck with wonder, right? When he heard the explanation of Mahaprabhu, he was struck with wonder. His cleverness was stunned and he could say nothing. Kahite chahaye kichu na aise uttara, tabe vicharaye mone hoya phapara. Okay, Madhava.
In order to say something, but no reply would come from his mouth, he then began to consider this puzzle within his mind.
Yeah, he was even trying to say something because Mahaprabhu said, right, there are faults. So generally, if somebody points out something, what will you do? You'll try to give an explanation, maybe defend yourself, say something, right? He was not able to say anything. Words were not coming to his mouth and he was bewildered. And then he started thinking. What did he think? Within his mind, right? He then began to consider this puzzle within his mind. What's going on with me, right? Because who is he? He's the greatest scholar, and now he's not even able to say any words. What's going on? So there's a puzzle. Paduya balaka koila mora buddhi lopa jani saraswati more koriya chena kopa. Rasapriya.
This mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me.
Yes. So what did he think? That my goddess Saraswati, she blessed me that whatever I speak, it will be faultless. Being pleased with me, she has blessed me. She will speak through my words. And now I was not defeated by any great scholar, just a small boy who teaches beginners grammar. I'm defeated by him. This is not an ordinary thing. Looks like I have offended goddess Saraswati. That's why she has taken her powers back. Right? That's why I'm not able to speak. I'm not even able to say anything. My mind is blocked. My intelligence is blocked by this small boy. How is this possible? This is only possible because goddess Saraswati is offended with me. So then, Srila Prabhupada's purport. So, Nilambari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Pranam Mataji.
Jai
Jai Shri Krishna.
In the beginning, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that all intelligence comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as the Paramatma. The Paramatma gave the Pandita the intelligence to understand that that because he was proud of his learning and wanted to defeat even the Supreme Lord by the will of the Lord and through the agency of Mother Saraswati, he had been defeated. One should not therefore be too proud of one's position, even if one is a greatly learned scholar. If he commits an offense to the lotus feet of the Lord, he will not be able to speak properly. In spite of his learning, in spite of his learning, in, in every respect, we are controlled. Our only duty, therefore, is to surrender always to the lotus feet of the Lord and not be falsely proud. Mother Saraswati created this situation to favor the champion Pandit so that he might surrender unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So what does Krishna say? That mattaha smritir gyan sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattaha smritir gyanam apohanam cha. Right? Whatever knowledge, whatever intelligence, everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. So here this person's intelligence is blocked, so that is also we can understand it's happening. Apohanam, forgetfulness, is also coming from the Lord only. So the Lord as Paramatma in the heart, first of all, he gave him the intelligence to understand. So he's defeated here, right? When this Keshav Kashmiri was defeated, he's understanding what the problem is. How he's understanding the problem, that Goddess Saraswati is offended with me. How he's understanding that? He's understanding because the Lord is giving him that understanding in the heart, sitting in the heart as Paramatma. The Paramatma gave the Pandit the intelligence to understand that because he was proud of his learning and wanted, why is Saraswati Devi offended with him? Number one, that's the question. He didn't understand that. He didn't understand why Saraswati Devi was offended with him, but he understood that unless Saraswati Devi is offended, it's not possible that I can be brought to this state. But why is she offended? That acharyas are explaining to us. Saraswati Devi is offended because her worshipper is trying to defeat her master, the Supreme Lord, right? So why he is trying to defeat? Because he has become so proud of his learning that he is even trying to defeat the Supreme Lord. So Saraswati Devi simply became an agent of the Supreme Lord. Ultimately, all living entities have their relationship with the Supreme Lord, right? Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. We are all directly servants of the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is personally concerned about each one of us. So he's also concerned about this Keshava Kashmiri. But through the agency of Saraswati Devi, he's teaching him a lesson. Okay, Mother Saraswati. So through the agency of Mother Saraswati, he had been defeated. How he is defeated? Through the agency of Mother Saraswati took back her benediction to him. One should not therefore, so the lesson to be learned here is we should not be too proud of whatever skills or whatever position we may have, because whatever we possess is coming from the Supreme Lord only. And if we become proud of that, the person who gave it to us can also take it back, because it's not ours in the first place. We are always controlled by him. Nothing is ours. It's all borrowed property, right? Whatever beauty, whatever wealth, whatever skill, intelligence, speaking ability, you name it, right? Cooking ability, whatever we have, everything is borrowed property. Nothing is ours. So as soon as we become proud, Krishna does not appreciate pride, actually. When we are humble, then we are actually in a good position to progress in Krishna consciousness. So Goddess Saraswati created this situation to favor, but again, like we see in Bhagavatam, we are reading, this is also the Lord's mercy, right? Harishe tadhanam. How does that verse go? Yasyaham anugrihnami harishye taddhanam shanai. When I become especially favorable to a devotee, I take away all his opulences, Krishna says. This is also like that. So why he is taking away? Because this person has become unnecessarily proud, and that's becoming an obstacle in the progress of his bhakti. So when Krishna is extra kind to one person, one devotee, he'll take away all his opulences, like he's doing here with Keshav Kashmir. Okay, that's also his mercy. The point is that is also his mercy coming through Goddess Saraswati. Text 990. ये व्याख्या कोरिला से मनुष्येर नहे शक्ति निमाई मुखे रही बोले आपने सरस्वती. Actually, we didn't do the purport. Did we do the purport? Yeah, Mataji read. Priyanka Mataji. Translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
This is
Krishna.
from brothers and sisters. Shri Prabhupada.
Done with Pranam Mataji. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Screen is black Mataji. I don't know.
I'll wait.
Okay, yeah, it's here now. Okay, the wonderful explanation the boy has given could not have been possible for a human being. Therefore, Mother Saraswati must have spoken personally through his mouth.
So this is Keshav Kashmiri thinking. He's still thinking this is a boy. He doesn't realize this is the Supreme Lord. So the type of explanation that this grammar teacher, who's just, remember, he's still in Kaishora Leela. Kaishora Leela means less than 16 years old, anywhere between 11 and 15. That's the age of Mahaprabhu. But the way he has explained it, it was beyond Keshav Kashmiri's capacity to understand how someone can give this type of explanation. It is not possible for a boy to give this type of explanation unless he is favored by Goddess Saraswati. How can he speak? That was his point. He is not seeing him as the Supreme Lord. So he's saying the wonderful explanation the boy has given could not have been possible for a human being. What to speak of a boy? It's not possible for any human being. Therefore, Mother Saraswati must have spoken personally through his mouth. Means Saraswati Devi wants to give me some instruction. She's speaking through this boy. That's his realization. So it is time. Shall we stop here? Hare Krishna. Continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.